See what we got going on tonight. Little Monday night chat, if you will. Got a new bottle in that I want to try. I'm going to compare it with last year's. Hey JC, what's up? Compare it with last year's Woodford batch proofs that I have. A little bit not as hot, but let's see what it does. Yeah, what's everyone got going on? Guess we got people here maybe. Kind of an impromptu pop-up stream. Didn't see much going on tonight. Thought, hey, I'd like to get into these bottles and see how they taste. I've got a Russel Single barrel I'm going to get into as well. But it's a good pop. This is a 118.4. And then I'm also going to do a little side by side. I've got the 128.3. That's, like I said, that's from last year. So I was able to pick this up because of my good buddy Greg McDonald, if you guys know him. Nice pour. Heard good things about it. I kind of was a little hesitant with this one because the last Masters piece, or whatever they call it, what do they call it? Masters collection. Sorry, the last Masters collection I got was the five malted grain, some, I don't remember, beer, something it was, whatever. Wasn't any good. I mean, it's I shouldn't say it wasn't any good. It's not a palate like for a bourbon drinker. It's a funky thing. So I was hesitant to get this one because they're pretty expensive for what they are. But hey, I was able to get it, so I'm going to give it a shot. On the nose, definitely more ethanol. Yeah, I think GAC, you are probably correct, because it's that's coming in hot on the nose for 118. Oh, it's a stouted mash or something. I think it's what it is anyway. Disappointing. I'll just say that. It's disappointing. But I guess that's what you got to expect on some of these exploratories. And, we can't, everything can't be a hitter. Everything can't be the most amazing. And they definitely have some, man, look at the legs on this are really nice. Definitely have some expense in doing some of that exploratory stuff. So, hats off to them for at least trying stuff, I guess. I just don't know that I want to pay $130 for a very unique bottle. But anyway, so this one, I'll get in the first sip here. I want to give it a minute to open up there because, like JC said, it's definitely it's heavy on the ethanol. I'm definitely getting the corny, like the real corn, like this is gonna sound silly. I don't know if you ever had corn nuts, but it's kind of got like a corn nut profile, like it's a fried corn kernel. So, and it's corn, but it's got a little bit of smoke to it, I guess. Wow. Definitely doesn't drink as hot as it noses. I'll say that. Yeah, it's not a sweet corn cob. Yeah, it's like a roasted corn, not one I'd want to eat necessarily. Although the corn nuts are good. I don't know if you ever had corn nuts. That's to me is what it kind of nosed at. But not a bad palate at all. Quick finish. Um, there's a lot going on up front, and then it goes away really quick. With the legs that I don't know if you can see that. There's maybe a better. You can kind of see that line still holding on. That leg's running now. I kind of expect it to have more of a finish. Not a lot of sweetness, which is good. Sometimes I get tired of just getting inundated with sweet all the time. Although, I mean, I like sweet, but it seems like a lot of these finishes and stuff that these distilleries are doing are targeting that sweeter palate, you know. Yeah, see, the viscosity is good. The mouthfeel is good. The finish is fast for as viscous as it is. Oak, definitely got the oak in there. A balanced oak, I should say. Of course, it's got oak in there, but a balanced oak. Um, it's not like a bitter oak. It just comes in there nice. I think it's a real good balance of the oak. Not much in the mid palate, front and back for sure. And then, like I said, the finish goes quick, but not bad. Look, I Woodford. I love the barrel strength of Woodford's. I was lucky enough to try a couple of the samples that some stores have had that come in at like 130, 133, and I'm just wondering why the hell they don't release a barrel strength. But they don't, and the only ones they do are these, and um, these I don't think hold up to some of those samples. Although, I mean, this is really good. I just don't think it holds up to some of the samples I've got. I don't know the mash bill on it. I know it's, if I remember right, I think it's a relatively um, uh, high rye, but I can't swear to that. So um, there it is. So it's 72.18. So yeah, it's a fairly high rye. It's not like a 21 for sure, but an 18 rye and 10 barley. So that's kind of, that 10 barley is what's really putting the darker notes on there. The more, like, hey Aaron, how you doing? Baker's chocolate or whatever, but not sweet. There's not a ton of sweetness to this. It's good. I think this would go really good with like a what do they call that? A Connecticut leaf, a lighter leaf cigar, because this kind of fills out the darker chocolatey. And then again, I don't know. It could go good with. I'd have to smoke one, I guess, with to see. But to me, I feel like a lighter cigar would go really good with this. Good. I'm not mad at that. Good pickup. I'm glad I picked it up. I'm gonna go ahead and try this last year's 128.3 as well, which I haven't really. Oh, good Lord, what am I doing? Stick around the cork. Don't want that. I haven't really drank much of this one, as you can see. I mean, gotten into it a little bit, but it obviously didn't impress me before as much as, some other things. Otherwise, there would be a lot more missing. Mm. Oh, a lot different nose there. Yeah, this one. Oh, this nose went somewhere. Hey, Alex, how you doing, man? Um, so Alex, in case you didn't know, so I started off like fresh crack on this. It's the Woodford Masters collection. It's the new 118.4. They also did another one too. I think a 123. That one I haven't seen yet. And then I just poured this one as a comparison. This is last year's kind of batch proof. Noses are significantly different. I mean, night and day different. This one I'm getting more of the toasted kind of a profile to it. I wonder if it was toasted. No. Doesn't say. I don't think so, but man, it sure has a lot more of that. A lot more of a toasted note. And it could be that thing's just been sitting and aired out a while. There's quite a bit poured down. Oh. Wow. So this one, wow, it's got a lot more going on. Now, like I said, it could be that it just got to sit there and air out and open up. But wow, yeah, big difference. Same mash bill supposedly. It's got just a touch more sweetness. A touch more, not a lot. You can still taste the high malt, which is kind of that cocoa-y, chocolatey, dark. I call it like a dark flavor. Yeah, they can be pricey. I mean, fortunately, I got them in a control state. Yeah, same. So it was nice. You get the state minimum or whatever they call it. It's like $130. And to be completely honest and fair, I haven't even paid for it yet because Greg McDonald got it for me the other day, and then he dropped it off. He's, we'll settle up later. So I haven't even technically paid for it yet. Not mad at that bottle. Either one of those bottles, actually. But this one, last year's, just has definitely a little more maturity going on. Wow. Yeah, I would, given the current state, if I had to pick between these two for sure, I would pick, yeah, you're not right. Or wrong. The free bottles are the best. Definitely take last year's over this one, over this year's. At least this 128 over this 118. I'm going to have to come back and revisit this one, though. I think that it opens up, like JC suggested. I think it's gonna probably do something a little more similar to this. It might sweeten up a little bit. It's not bad. Not bad at all. Would definitely recommend at SRP if you could find it. Just because I think that Woodford's mash bill is pretty distinct and different. I usually don't have a hard time picking up a Woodford mash bill for the most part. But I like what they're doing, and the fact that you get it at barrel proof, I think it's a good one. And as this 128 is sat for almost a year, if you will, it's definitely, I feel like it's matured a little bit in the bottle. That oxidation has definitely had an impact. Mm. It could be proof, Alex. But I mean, you got to remember this. Like I said, this one. Oh gosh. Excuse me. Woo. Boy, that went down the the wrong hole. Yeah, I love the Woodford Double Oaked as well. It's very good. Like I said, I get a more toasted profile off of the 128 than I do the 118. Wow, that just set me off. And that's why you don't breathe while you drink high proof whiskey. Whew. All right, back to torturing myself. Yep, not bad. So, what are you guys all drinking? So I set these up. We'll let those air out for a while. Yeah, you're not wrong, Alex. I think those. Hey, look at that. MC squared in the house. What is going on, brother? Dentist in the morning. Oof. Nice. Nothing like getting an extra hour or two of sleep, right? I'll go back to palate reset. Let those two open up a little bit and then come back to them. Cheers, Marty. You sexy son of a bitch, you. So Marty, I don't know if you saw, I started off tonight with this as a fresh crack. This is the 118.4 from this year. And then I did a little side by side with last year's 128.3. Liking the liking basically the 128.3 a little bit better right now, and I don't know if it's because it's been sitting in the bottle with the neck pour gone, or quite a bit of the neck pour gone, where it got to air out and maybe change the palate a little bit. So anyway, I'm gonna let those air out. Then I got another fresh crack tonight that I wanted to try. It's another single barrel I got. North Missouri. Is that Missouri? Which one's Missouri? What's Missouri's acronym? The two letters for Missouri. Why don't I know this? It's MO, right? So MS, so this would be Mississippi. So northern Mississippi, my guess is, I can't remember, and if I forgot, I apologize, Dale, but I think I got this from you, Dale Console. Black Star, if you guys know him in chat. Ooh. Oh, like that. That, golly, that's hitting me like a turkey funk right away. Like a strong turkey funk. Reminiscent of some of the Dusties, man. Ooh. Well, you got all, yeah, you're not wrong, JC. These Russell's picks, every one of them have been pretty freaking fabulous. And then I've had a couple that have stood out more than others. This one I got from Amon's in Wisconsin was such a crazy off profile and so delicious. Like I've smashed so much of that bottle. I kind of regret it because I got a second one and those went pretty fast. And he managed to get me and hold me a second one. I went up and got it, and then I ended up giving it away to Top Dog because he loves these Russell Single barrels. And I was like, well, you've got to have this bottle because it's unbelievably good, and it is. And then this one just screams, like I said, turkey right out of the gate. It's got that turkey funk. Smells a little dusty. To me, it's kind of, that dusty is kind of that, is that like a sour peanut, maybe? That would be a description I would use for a dusty. It's kind of has this older, musty, sour peanut. Oh, wow. That is off profile as well. The nose, like you'd nail it for turkey all day on the nose. But that palate, man, I got to go back. That's I can't quite put my finger on it. It's got some stuff going on. Oh, wow. Wow. I wonder if it's just my palate today, like because I'm not getting a whole lot of sweetness. I haven't drank a whole lot of Diet Mountain Dew either, so that could be part of it. Man, that is a really, really velvety, like, ooh. What's the proof on this one? I guess they all come in at 110, don't they? Yeah, Dew is fantastic. Wow, yeah, this is super interesting. Like I said, it's got a velvety, definitely turkey funk, but not like, it's not like heavily identifiable. It's got a little bit going on, a little more oak heavy than most of these picks I've had. That's probably where that smoothness comes in. It's not like a spicy oak. It's more of a like an aged oak. Um, that's probably where that dusty nose was coming from. Oh wow, yeah, fan freaking tastic. Mm. Well, hey, I did post the link up there if anybody wants to jump on. I guess, yeah. So how do I post? Yeah, here somewhere, anywhere. You guys see it. Anybody wants to jump on, chat again? I just wanted to hang out tonight, talk a little whiskey, talk a little, fresh bottle cracks. Any expectations anybody's got? There's been some good stuff coming out on the newsreels, I guess, as far as some releases that are coming. Foregate sounds like they've got their stuff kind of ironed out and they're on a roll. Yeah. Delicious. I don't know if you guys saw that. Foregate's, they had some, I guess, some supply chain issues with, and maybe if any of you guys were watching, what is her name? The Average Drinker. I think she had Bob on, and then Hood Sommelier was on tonight too. He was also talking a little bit about it, and yeah. Wow. Yeah, I can't get over this Russell pick. This is really, really good. Really, really, really good. Oh, what else did I see? I saw. Hey, Brian. I saw some new labels come across the wire. I thought were really good and worth talking about. Let me see if I can pull it up. Let's see. Hotel Tango's got a new one coming out. Oh, the Derringer Founders Collection. Oh, that Kentucky Owl. Like, don't know what to think about that. The Japanese master blender. Oh, what's the deal on this one? Takumi edition, it's called. Yahisa Yusuke and John Rhea, who is the Kentucky Owl Master Blender now. But that Yahisa Yusuke, they put out this limited Kentucky Owl called Takumi edition. I'm sure that'll be way overpriced. And probably not worth. I don't know. I say that it could be very good. Yeah, I wonder if that's what it is, JC, if it isn't a kind of a Legion thing. Hugh Hamer's got a new one coming out too. Bourbon finished in cider, which sounds pretty good. Then, like I said, the Hotel Tango, they're doing a maple syrup barrel finished. Oh, the Old Carter, that was a big one that I saw for the Bourbon Women Symposium. Doing a 125 bottle release for that. It's a special all MGP. My guess is it's probably some of their older 16, 17, or 18-year-old bourbon they've got. Maybe 14. I think they had some that would be hitting 14 about now. But 108 proof. They're calling it a batch, and it's only 125 bottles. So the batch could be related to the kind of the event, if you will. Or it could be limited to maybe they're really short barrels. I don't know. I can't imagine. I mean, if they are, they could be close to 20 years. I could see them getting down pretty low. And they may have a bunch of leftovers, but they're not offering them to. So maybe there's only 125 people going to that symposium, and maybe they all get them or something. I don't know. There's another one called the Brothers Wright Reserve Coal Mine Aged. Potential another gimmicky, I guess. It's Kentucky straight bourbon aged in a coal mine. Dickel called and want their formula back. I don't know what in the hell aging it in a coal mine. I mean, it's going to be really damp, dark, and cold down there. So I can't imagine it's going to do much of anything unless it's down there for a very, very, very long time. Then the Rabbit Hole's got another Derringer Founders Collection coming out, finished in Pedro Jimenez Sierras, and another Hotel Tango Tawny Port finished. So those are some interesting ones coming out. There's another Hugh Hamer one too. It's the straight bourbon finished in peach brandy. Stop. American whiskey finished in Nocino barrel. So this is from Bull Run. I don't know what the heck a Nocino is. I'm going to look that up. Nocino liqueur. Walnut liqueur. Interesting. Okay, so this is a 15-year Bull Run finished in a walnut liqueur barrel. Interesting. Bull Run doing some funky stuff, especially with that older crap. I don't know if it's bad older crap that they were able to get their hands on and they're just trying to make it good or what. Hugh Hamer coming in hot with another one. Bull Run doing an 8-year rye finished in tequila. Wow, interesting. So anyway, there's going to be some fun stuff. It looks like this fall is going to be interesting from kind of the whiskey world in general. Looks like a lot of people, picked up on the boom as it was happening and started throwing stuff in different barrels. And so we're going to be getting a lot of unique finishes, especially a lot of the older age stuff that isn't necessarily great straight. So I think you're going to start seeing a lot of that older stuff show up that's finished in various things to try and salvage some whiskey maybe that didn't either over oaked or isn't quite aging well. It's always a crapshoot, and maybe it's just fun stuff, gimmicky stuff. They're just trying to clear out barrels. Who knows? All right, JC, we'll see you, buddy. Greg McDonald. So cracked open started off tonight with the Woodford 118. Nose was really ethanol forward. Palate did not drink as hot as the nose. Then I went into the 128 from last year. It's been sitting for almost a year, so it seemed to have a little more maturity to it. Palate was a little more mature and transitioned nicely. And then I just opened up a Russell's single barrel that I got. I think I got this from Dale Console. It's a North Mississippi barrel pickers single barrel, and it is freaking fantastic. Another one, I don't know, Greg, that it beats the Amon's pick, but it's right up there with it as far as it being off profile. There's definitely turkey there, but it's a lot more off profile than it is on profile for turkey. Aaron, good question. To me, what I have found is I feel like whiskeys really start coming into their own and really taking on a lot of great characteristics at that 7-year mark. You see it a lot more prevalent at the 8-year, but you can see it quite often at 7-year. You'll start to notice certain things starting to happen, and you kind of, I think what it is, it's the esters getting broke down in the oak, and now it kind of creates this more viscousy caramel vanilla thing going on, right? And I think that really starts to die off at the 12-year mark. And then at the 12-year mark, I feel like we start getting a lot more of the oak influence. Now, there are those occasions, and there's several of them, where it goes beyond 12 and it gets better. It could be the location of the stave within the heart of the tree. So how close to the center versus the outside. It could be the age of the tree that then allows that to go a little bit higher age. And of course, it's always the weather patterns. Greg, you're not wrong. Quality of the wood is there. I've said this a million times if I hadn't said it 2 million, and that's the whiskey we get today is variably different from whiskeys of the past. And I think that's largely due to the age of the trees that we're actually able to harvest the staves from. When I can go back and drink a 19, pick a, I don't know, 60s, 50s, 70s, any of those, sub 90 proof whiskey, and it have the flavor that it has. And I try and drink a sub 90 proof whiskey today, and it's like water with alcohol and, something else that's not really that. I mean, there's very few sub 90 proofs that I can even drink, and because they just don't taste good to me. I think a lot of that has to do with the age of those barrels, the wood in the barrels, I should say. It could also be the age of the barrel itself. Like once the stave has actually been produced, the barrel's been produced. A lot of people do open air aging. Woodinville is, really adamant about it, and they're very focused on that. It's a big part of what they do. That, basically taking that barrel and let it sit out in the elements for a year or two has a tremendous impact. You get those fatty acid esters that imparts flavors. But I stand by, if I'm picking, just an age range, it's going to be 7 to 12. And I typically, if it's under 8, I'm a little bit skeptical. Yeah. Yep. I see, Aaron, I think that's 100% true. They want the wood is going to be seasoned, right? It's going to have seen many seasons. Just like you cut through a tree and you see the rings, all of those rings represent, the climate that the tree endured each year. And, you see these, some rings are bigger than others and so on and so forth. And it all had to do with kind of the harshness. I think if someone really starts breaking down that science, we'll have a pretty good idea on what it is. But I think right now it's a little out of our touch as far as being able to really put our finger on it. I think we can just point to old wood and say, we know that old wood has an impact. So cheers, Richie Z. Again, I got the link up there. Everybody wants to jump on, chit chat, ask questions, talk shit, whatever. All right. I'm going to go back to the Woodford now. So this is the 118. This is this year's. The nose definitely calmed down. Definitely calmed down. Got a lot more caramel on the nose now. Mm. Solid pour. I don't think it's lights out by any means. I don't think it's something that I would just go goo over. Hey, Doug. I would definitely recommend it because, like I said, I like the Woodford profile. I think it is uniquely different from a lot of distilleries, and it's good to have these at barrel proof as a point of reference as well, if they are really good. Yeah, you're not wrong, Brian. James Morgan, good evening. Like the 118. All right, I'm going to go back to the 128 now and see how that is sitting now that it's opened up for a minute. Oh, wow. More complex in the palate, but it goes a bit, just slightly a bit tannic. That bitter oak, just slightly, whereas this one didn't do that this time around. Oh, look at this. How about it? Cheers, my brother.
I also drink on a Monday. I didn't drink on a Sunday. So.
Yeah, that's right. And you got an extra hour or so to sleep in, right?
Just finally kicked the big C for a while there, but I got left with a cough that just drives me nuts.
Cocaine? Yeah, it's a hell of a drug, man.
Yeah. Is this recorded for quality assurance? No, you're drinking Woodford, so I finally cracked my. I always have a spare bottle of double oak sitting, so I figured I'll crack that.
Oh, that's a good one. I really like the picks too. I think the picks they do, even though they're low proof, they drink really well for a 90.4.
Yeah, and it's like, for instance, myself, like I haven't been drinking as much. I can go to this now and I can feel a little bit of a burn to it. Like it's not,
yeah.
Now if I was, hitting old dragon bones, I wouldn't go to this next pour. Maybe to wash my palate.
Yeah, exactly. Put out the fire.
Yeah. But I mean, no, it's been good. But I always seen those Woodford, those yearlies. I always was interested in them because I do like Woodford. I think Woodford, like I like their off the shelf rye, their off the shelf Distiller Select, I think it's called.
Yeah,
they're good to always have around.
I don't disagree. They're very easy to drink, approachable whiskeys, have good flavors. They're not crazy complex, and it's a good whiskey to get new people into whiskey, especially the double oaks because they come in so sweet.
That was my first whiskey to try was the double oak.
Yep. I mean, they're a little pricey for the age, but they're not bad.
What are the age in those?
So most of the double oaks are around 6.
Okay.
And the standard offering is right at 4. And then they kind of float in between there. And I'm not sure on like these barrel proof ones. I think they kind of do different stuff, and I think they're kind of all over the place.
Would they be like, I know, like with Scotch and stuff like that, you have that, somebody will say 10-year, and that's the youngest that's in the bottle. Yeah. So with a 4-year bourbon, would that be just 4-year all across the board, or could there be percentages of?
Oh yeah, they're definitely blending those batches, but again, Woodford's got a pretty particular profile they go after.
Yeah.
And so a lot of nuance gets lost from the barrels, which is, fine with me. I like that.
But could you ever see a 10-year Woodford come out?
Well, I've got the very fine, very rare, which is actually 17-year-old Woodford.
Yeah.
That one is very interesting. It's very good. I don't know. I mean, I would have loved that thing at barrel strength. I think that would have been fucking legendary. Yeah. So,
I haven't read
okay. So here it says, I'm sorry, and I'm reading. I just want to make sure I'm correct on this. Yeah. So, the Woodford Reserve is around 7. So I know that they do hit 4-year barrels in their batches, but I think they try and target that 7-year is obviously what they're saying. And I think these are in that 6 to 8 to 10, somewhere around there too, but they blend them up. So you just don't know. They're all batch proof.
Yeah. I haven't looked it up, but I can't remember how old of a company they are. It must be at least 10 years old. 15 years.
Let's find out.
Well, if they have a 17.
Yeah, that's the one I've got.
Yeah. So it must be at least, would they be 20 years old even?
Well, they could, not necessarily, could have been other stuff. 1996.
Oh, yeah.
1996. Yeah.
Year after I graduated high school.
They're one of the more popular, one of the more popular whiskeys globally. I mean, they have a lot of global impact. They've done a really good job of marketing.
Yeah, I mean, their presentation's really good too. Like their bottles and everything. Like it's a good looking bottles. No matter which bottles they pull out. Like their logoing is very professionally done. Like it's not outrageous by any means.
Yep. No, it's very subtle, it's clean. It's a very clean design.
Their bottles are meant to look good on your shelf.
And that bottle, I love that bottle design.
Yeah.
The heavy bottle, I think it's way better than the original Masters Collection bottles, which looked more like a pot still.
Yeah.
So. Yeah,
no, they're probably actually designed to look good while you're presenting them.
Yeah, for sure. And everyone likes the Derby bottles, right? There's a lot of people that go and try and collect all those every year, and it's nothing more than the regular stuff, right? That they just put a funky sticker on, which is pretty cool.
Add about $80 to it.
Yeah, they go pretty crazy. I mean, the Baccarat, that's one it's such a hard, like it's such an easy one to hate on because it's so ridiculously expensive.
Yeah,
but you're not buying that bottle for the liquid inside. Absolutely not.
No.
That is true Baccarat crystal. That is a very, very expensive bottle. That's, someone said, "Hey, would you do this?" And they said, "Sure, we'll give it a shot and see what happens." Yeah. And people were like, "Yeah, we'll buy that." We're like, "Okay, well, we'll make more then, I guess."
Yeah,
Ding Dong's going to buy it.
Well, if it's one thing that whiskey drinkers have proven, that we'll buy anything, no matter what the price.
As long as you build a value proposition around it, and you say, "Hey, obviously the name of the game is really limited." That's limited releases are what really define the bourbon craze. I mean, that's pretty much the thrill of the whole thing. Go finding a bottle that your buddy can't find, and then saying, "Hey, I found it. Come over. Let's drink it and enjoy it together and get pissed that I paid $300 for this bottle, but I don't care because we're having a good time," right?
Yeah.
So,
I used to watch a Canadian show called Corner Gas, and he walks into the cafe and she's trying a new menu out, and she says, "Oh, it's a goat cheese pecan salad." He's like, oh, I want that. And then she started using the term classic. It's a classic goat cheese pecan salad. He's like, oh, I'll get that. It's got to be good. It's classic.
That's right. Hey, man, we are, whether we like to admit it or not, we are creatures of particular habits, and we've been weaned well. Marketing has done a great job of weaning us off of individual thought and focused more on, what do they call that? Groupthink.
Yeah, how many things that you bought that really didn't need to. And you're sitting there saying, I'm not gonna buy anything more. Next thing you know, you buy it.
Yep.
Like you're already putting it through the sale, and you're like, oh shit, I guess I bought it.
Yeah.
It's unsettling if you don't buy it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's this rush. You get oh, I found it. Great. Yeah. I'm gonna get it.
Yeah.
And then you're right. You go through the checkout, and then you're on your way home, and you went, I just fucking spend $100 on that bottle? Really?
Yeah. Like, what the hell?
Like I needed that?
Yeah. That's what it is.
I really need another bottle?
Yeah. Did I?
I mean, I constantly tell myself, I'm like, okay, and this is legit. Like I have my bar out there is very intentional. It's very, very intentional. I'm beyond what I need to be to do what the intention is, which is to be able to navigate someone's palate and find, kind of their preferences and then even educate, right? And then do some palate training and all that. I'm beyond that. I'm over 350 bottles open on the bar. Very few duplicates. It's all over the place. So, but there are still bottles that if they pop up, I'm going to pull the trigger on them.
Yeah.
I just will.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I buy it and then I go, you know what? Wow, I really didn't need a second or a third one of those or a fourth one of those. So I'll give it away. Right. So I give away a lot. And that's usually why. It's because I bought it and I'm like, oh man, I got like 2 or 3 deep. Someone else needs to enjoy this. So I just, throw it out there and let somebody.
That's what ends up like. I mean, I can't get bottles that often unless I do the system that I have. So I always will buy, usually, like I always try to buy like 2 bottles of something, just because it's a pain. And plus, now that I'm actually paying for the bottles, it's like I'm paying double every bottle I pay. So, crossing the border. I mean,
are you still being extremely honest with the people at the border when you go?
You know what? I do it for the simple fact that I do not want to be flagged.
Yeah.
And in that time, like that, maybe I bring something extra. I don't want to be flagged as that person.
Yeah. Because you do it once and you're.
It was my choice to buy all the bottles in the first place. It's my issue to try to get them back over here.
Yeah.
I'm still paying cheaper than what Ken and them pay in Australia to get their bottles. So,
damn straight.
So what? I'm paying, like the other day I paid, just even the cast strength, still Austin, which I think it's like 65, 70 American dollars. I still had to pay like of almost $80. There's a provincial markup fee I got to pay. Like, the duties and taxes are the cheap things. They're like $30. That's nothing. It's the 138% provincial markup fee that you pay on top of all.
God.
It's like, so my province gets a markup fee for a bottle that was sold in the States, in America. We still get the markup.
Yeah.
Like I said to my wife, it's like somebody buying our products from our store, crossing into Minnesota, and Minnesota gets the same markup we just got. Actually, they get more.
Yeah.
than what we got for our store.
So what do they base that provincial fee on?
Well, so Okay, so all I know is they base it on a 750 ml bottle at 40 ABV, so 80 proof.
Oh, so it's proof gallon.
Yes.
Okay, so the higher the proof, the more you're going to get nailed.
They only base it on 40 ABV.
Oh, they don't change it. So it's just
they've never asked. They only keep telling me that same because
okay. And it's always $80.
Dragon Bones came across.
Yeah.
And that would have probably caused my son not to go to college. If you think on the proof point.
Yeah. Well, so the common term, so the way it works on the distillery side, when you have a license, you have a license to produce so many proof gallons, right? Yeah. And so if a lot of people want to know why some of these distilleries don't put out barrel strength. That's why their licensing limits them to only so many proof gallons. So when they hit those marks, then they have to literally stop and let it age, or they have to do like what Willet does, which created a different label, and it has its own license that then it can bottle under. But then taxes are also based off of proof gallon. So I can't remember what that number is, but there is if you're saying it's 40 ABV, 750, that might be the target. Like that's basically a flat wash.
So one second, I'm going to close my door. My dogs are going to bark in a sec.
Yeah, no worries. Oh, Greg. I know, buddy. I'm so glad you never have. If you did impulse purchasing, you'd have like 10,000 bottles.
Yeah. If money wasn't a thing, we'd have about $10,000 bottles. $10,000 bottles. Yeah, I know. See, and I was just talking to somebody that's from Quebec today at work. He's asking about cigars and stuff like that, and all I know is in Quebec you can order from Scotland your scotches. Ontario, nobody will even ship to you because we won't allow it into Ontario unless it goes to the Liquor Control Board and you buy a case of it. You have to buy it through the Liquor Control Board. They'll order it for you, and it costs you like an obscene amount of money because you still got to pay the fees, duties, and fees on it. But you got to buy a case. It's like, what if you don't like it?
Yeah.
Like,
so basically what I heard you say is it is a flat rate for every bottle. Is that correct?
That's exactly what the customs border keeps telling me.
Okay, so and it's $80.
Well, no. Sorry, it's not. Well, yeah, it is roughly. Every bottle has been roughly about $80. So it's better for me sometimes if I bring like $150, $200 bottle over than that $35 turkey.
Fair enough.
Cheers, Vic.
Yeah, cheers, Vic.
Hey, James Morgan. But it's, yeah, because when I did the calculation beforehand, because there's an actual calculator for it on your ABV, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna kill me bringing these over, but they just keep saying to me, like, they don't even ask me the ABV. They just that's the assumption is that.
Yeah, they're just probably being nice and being like, look, we don't want to have to sit down and do the math. Just
it's like, yeah, that's just. But I mean, you know what? I've got, or I bet you I have not even, I want to say 10 bottles left at my cousin's. So what I'm going to do is going to open up my P.O. box again now that I can go over there and just get stuff shipped there and just grab it when it comes in and come across.
Yeah.
I feel bad. Like, I asked my cousin once, and next thing you know, 30 bottles later. And
he's probably like,
yeah. Like, my God.
The ATF's gonna crack down on his house, and
I'm surprised because sometimes they've just left like the like USPS or whatever, just left the bottles sitting on his front porch while he's at work, right? He works for the government. And it's just like, and then my cousin, so my cousin is this guy's wife. So it's my cousin's female. So she comes across here, and I was over there, and she goes, "Oh, I grabbed a bottle." She says, "I brought it over." She says, I'll leave it on your steps." I'm like, "Oh my god, okay, what bottle does she have? What does she have?" She had the E.H. Taylor barrel strength. When I pull into my driveway and I get out there's this yellow cylinder right at my front door. I'm like, "Oh."
You're like jumping out of the car.
Yes. It's like out of all the bottles that she could have brought over, she brought that one over to leave on my steps. It's like, oh my god. I'm saying to my wife, "Oh my god, what bottle did she bring over? What did she bring?" I'm like, so I knew that bottle was sitting there. I was like, oh.
Mm-hmm. Oh man. So what you been up to, brother? I haven't talked to you really in a while.
Just moved into our new house, getting it situated. Had COVID the whole time we were moving.
Nice.
We still have no kitchen. 22nd is when our kitchen cabinets come in for the third time. My son's flying in on Saturday, so he's contemplating moving back. So
wow, really?
see how that happens. But yeah, otherwise I've been just last 3 weeks was dealing with the move, getting situated, dealing with COVID, no taste, no anything. Just drank a couple times with some of the guys here, but
yeah,
just staying hidden.
Is Canada opening up at all, or is it still pretty well locked down?
No, it's all opened up.
Okay.
You don't have to wear masks or nothing or anything. You can.
Well, I know traveling back and forth, like I can't go to Canada without proof of like 2 boosters or some shit. And if I don't have that, then I have to quarantine for like 10 days.
I thought. Oh wait.
No. Here, look, I'll show you. Because I was going to come up there. I mean, not to see you, but for work stuff.
Yeah.
And then
That's fine.
so I had to download this app called Arrive Can.
Yeah, it's Arrive Can. So we have to do it too to come back in.
That's right.
It already has our proof of vaccinations on it.
Mm-hmm.
It says you have to prove 2 boosters.
It's either. I thought it was either 1 or 2 or something. Like you definitely have to prove you're fully vaccinated, and then the last thing that popped up there is like they want to see. I thought it was 2 boosters, but it could have just been 1 or something. But it said something about boosters. I was like, oh my god.
Really? Oh, because I know, like for instance, my son, he's only got his 2 vaccines. He didn't have the boosters or nothing.
Well, if you're native Canadian,
okay, yeah,
it's not as stringent. Like you
guys coming in, we don't want your cooties.
Exactly. And here's what's weird. I found out that U.S. is kind of the same way. If you come to the U.S. from a foreign country, we want proof of your vaccination. If not, you're asked to sit in a hotel for 10 days.
You guys don't even ask us questions. I give them my Nexus card. Where are you going? Menards. Okay. Don't even ask you anything about COVID. It's like,
wow. Well, I wonder if it's on your Nexus card though, if it shows up.
I've never entered it, like honestly, but I don't. Oh my god, dogs are just barking like crazy. But I don't truly feel. So I guess maybe the border I'm crossing is the small town that was there. Like they barely did anything, man. They have 1,100 people. They had like 75% had cases through all this stuff, right? Like what I heard, because we weren't going over there, I heard like some people that went over to work over there was like there was never such thing as COVID. They said like people just walk around normal in the grocery stores, like when it was like in the beginning when it was pretty heavy. They said that was like it was like a whole new world over there. There's no lockdown.
They don't ask you when you're crossing about it?
No. They may if you fly into the States, but they don't ask them to land cross. No.
Shit.
All they ask is where you're going or what your plan is, and it's like,
I'll just fly into freaking Minnesota there and drive up.
like,
Are you?
it's-
Oh, well, are you more Dakota or Minnesota or what is that you're?
No, I'm I'm Minnesota. Like I'm legitly 5 seconds to cross the bridge, and I'm in Minnesota.
Okay.
Like I'm attached to Minnesota by a bridge. You cross there, you get the borders. Like
Maybe
the thing
maybe
is,
I'll
is
have to
there's-
fly up to Minnesota.
well, see, they have, yeah, we can do that because they have an airport, small airport. Because usually what we do is, if we're flying anywhere in the States, instead of driving to Minneapolis, which is 4.5 hours, you can just go to the International Falls Airport. It's a small planes, and let's say you'll book a flight to Vegas or wherever you're going, and they just fly that little plane over to Minneapolis's airport. You take a joining flight, you go to your next place, because then your vehicle's only 5 minutes when you land, right? And you can drive home instead of driving 6 hours once you land and you're tired. And
Yeah.
but most people, like, we go to, no, I don't, but most people around this town, they go to Vegas constantly. And they'll get those special deals where it's like $50 for flights and hotel rooms.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, these definitely opened up, both of them. And they did change in the glass a little bit, the Woodfords, and they're both delicious. There's definitely some similarities between the two, but there's a couple differences as well.
Well, and they're the same blends, right? Or same recipe.
Same mash bill.
Mash bill.
Yep.
I am going. Oh no, I'm not going to pour that one. That was an old Carter. Ugh.
Oh, look at that. Going old Carters.
Well, I won samples from Durrell. He gave me a list of like 400 bottles to choose 5 from.
Yeah.
So I have VH Taylor Barrel Proof Batch 8. GTI,
Batch 8 is fantastic. The one you
GTA's
got.
2018.
Well, what batch did I send you? I think I sent you batch 8.
Well, yeah. What? No, isn't Batch 8 new?
No.
Oh. Okay. Well,
Batch 10 was the last batch. Batch 11 should be out now, but I haven't seen it pop up yet.
Oh, well, when you do.
Tap dancers.
He gets his treat after he goes to the washroom, and then he sits there and eats it.
Oh.
His dog bed, great big monster bed.
Yeah.
He's 11 years old.
Oof.
But yeah, no, I don't know. I've had these for a while. I won them. I got Stag Junior Batch 9.
Nice.
Carter American Batch 3. What did I have the other night? Blood Oath 7. I don't know. I haven't drank an old Carter yet.
Didn't I send you old Carter samples?
I don't know. You might have said it.
I did, bro.
I know.
Ever ago.
I know somebody was supposed to, I won a bottle of Eagle Rare. And not that I care about that part. But another person at the same time, when I won it, was sending me samples of the Black Friday old Carters. And I don't see them at my cousin's house.
Oh, who was sending you? Because I don't have it.
A partner of yours.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see an Eagle Rare at her house, so I'm assuming it's not theirs.
Yeah, he probably got wrapped up, man. That guy's got a lot going on for sure.
I'm fine. That would have been my first time trying that old Carter. So
Yeah.
I mean, I could try this, but it's like 138. I haven't drank something that high.
Dude, I thought I sent you an American sample, like 5 or 6.
I don't have any other samples at her house, so.
Well, this would have been forever ago.
No, I don't think we may have discussed it, but maybe never did. Remember the Maker's Mark would finish Utah Holiday Batch.
Oh, that come from the Davilars?
Whiskey Mountain Adriana.
Oh, yeah, Whiskey Mountain. I'm sorry, you said Utah.
Utah.
You
I'm
know.
not gonna drink a ton tonight.
I think your dog wants out.
Yeah, he's probably looking for more treats.
He's like, hey.
Yeah, you only gave me one. Gunter.
So real quick, just want to say hi to a couple people I saw pop in here. Steve Burkow.
Yeah, I'm gonna let my dog up because he's noisy.
James Morgan, I think I said something to you. Bourbon Baller, what's up, brother? Craig McDonald, always great having you in here, buddy. J Max too. Thanks for stopping by. Nothing big, just a Monday night. Just in case Chris is watching. You know, hey man, we all get busy. I know I've missed getting stuff out to people. It definitely fucking happens. I do give a lot of stuff away, so it's really easy for me to forget sometimes.
No, I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no.
That was an option. I could have had it.
I always encourage you, if someone is sending you something, you should always email them and remind them.
Yeah.
Give them the opportunity to go, oh shit, yes, because
I just report them.
That's
no, it's like I forget some of the things that are supposed to come to me too, though. That's the thing. Like I only remember when we're talking about something. It's like
right.
Like shit.
Well, I was debating on. I don't. Maybe I won't do it tonight. But I have 2 bottles of this. Greg McDonald knows about this bottle.
Oh, nice.
This is a private barrel. It's a 9-year. It's very good. It's one of the spicier single barrels I've had. It's not as approachable and velvety as some of the other 8 years for sure.
Wow.
It just has a little more zing on the palate, but it is freaking fantastic. It's from a local guy here, and like I said, I got 2 of them, so I think I'm going to give one of them away.
Nice. That's $200. Bring it out. Come on, it's all yours. Don't even put it in the
Yeah, I
drawer.
got all that. I mean, so our guy, South Carolina is a little weird, in that they have free reign to charge whatever they want. Now, they do also get nailed a little more, like their cost is a little higher through their distribution than some other places, some other states. Wow. So, like his pick, he's got on, I just saw the advertisement for it, or like the Facebook post or something, and he's asking like $110 for a bottle of his, and which is fine. I think that's way overpriced. I think it should be $80. That's me. But I also don't know exactly what his distribution charged him. So he usually does a pretty good job keeping his markup relatively low for the most part.
Yeah.
But man, I mean, you look across the board and all these single barrels have gone up. They're all in that 90 range or higher, which I don't get.
Well, I mean, but sadly, people have no problem paying higher prices, so higher prices will always be a thing.
Yeah. I mean, and you think about it, like $100, dude.
It's Elijah Craig usually is around what, 30 to 50
yeah, the normal 94 proof is $39.99, $35.99, something like that.
Yeah, but even some of the picks are only up to like $60, are they not?
Well, so what it's supposed to be, or what the SRP is, at least what I found in Idaho when I got their state pick, is they were $79.99, $80. Okay, so that is a fixed markup that's negotiated from the base price. So whatever that situation is, $80 should be the target price. I'm okay with $80 on $100. It just, to me, it gets I mean, that's a lot of freaking money for a bottle of whiskey. and it's
But
not rare. Like, it's
yeah,
different if it's got a significant amount of age, if it's got, some unique finishing. What, those all those secondary things are expensive. They take time. I can see paying those prices. It becomes very hard for me to do that for just a straight bourbon. Like,
yeah. Well, and
there's
like,
not really any extra cost, but they're charging you an ass ton for it.
and those are, say, like the 4 that come out per year kind of bottles as well, right? Is that what you're speaking of? Or
Three.
the 3? Okay, yeah. And they're not small quantity; they're
No.
quite large quantity that go out.
And I'll tell you, most of the barrel picks are not as good as the standard releases.
Yeah. And that's like I say, I've never tried. I mean, I've had like a mash and journey pick and that, but I've never tried the yearly picks to see how much they differentiate from each other.
Yeah.
Some people, like, I've chatted in rooms before, saying like there's really not that huge of a difference. Some people say there's a big difference. I don't know.
I would say there's a pretty big difference between
Is
the
there?
batches. You don't get that hard over straight bourbon. Well, hold your horses there, top shelf. I'll go from 6 to midnight, 3 seconds flat over that bottle.
Oh yeah, 13.
It says it's finished, but let's be honest, it's not.
What does it say it wasn't finished in when it was?
Well, they
finished?
call it Alabama style, which technically what that was supposed to mean is that they threw a barrel in there while they were aging it.
Finished in Elvira,
Yeah.
Alabama.
But Ben said it best. He goes, I think, Ben Bourbon, for those that know Bourbon, he's the one who says, I think they throw an apple at the barrel. I'm like, yep, I think you're right, because I get no apple out of that.
Yeah.
And that is hands down a fantastic bottle. James Morgan, great bottle, by the way. 1920 is one of my favorites. I will say,
Yeah, it is.
I've got a bottle of the 1915, which is the blend of the 1910 and the 1920 that was given to me by Mr. Doug H. And wow, that is a phenomenal blend. If you've not done that, James Morgan, I encourage you to do that. 50-50, 1910, 1920. It's 104 proof, and it's a smacker for sure. There is a Jepson standard shelf bourbon. Their distribution is getting better, but their standard, this is going to blow you away. Their standard is 100 proof, and it's like $26.
Really?
And it is fucking phenomenal. Phenomenal. $26.
But nobody ever talks about
I
that.
dare you to find a better bottle for $26. Good luck.
Nobody ever mentions that.
No, they don't. They're very limited. Like it's you see them heavily in the Chicago area. They're starting to show up elsewhere. I did see them. I saw them, believe it or not, at Total Wine. At Total Wine in Louisiana, they had the freaking Jepson's 100 proof sitting on the shelf.
Nice. Cheers,
And
Stacy.
it was $25.99. And I was like, holy shit, it made it down to New Orleans. So Doug, get over to Total Wine and grab you some Jepson's 100 proof. It is fantastic. 4-leaf whiskey. I assume that's Stacy H.
That's Stacy. Yep.
Cheers, Stacy H.
The room just got educated. Just kidding.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, Jepson's, or actually it's the distillery is called CH Distillery. So Jepson's is the brand that handles Malort and the bourbon. But the bourbon is getting a new label. It's still going to be called Jeppson's, but the label is a lot more subtle. It's not as phantasmic as the
like the castle.
Yeah, just it looks like almost like a child colored it in. Yeah, no, it's not. It's actually very clean and elegant looking label. A lot more of a basic palette on the colors. It looks really good. So our next, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I'm just looking at that bottle, seeing it on the shelf. It almost, I mean, I know it's a twist off. Besides that, to me, it reminds me that it's a plastic bottle for some reason.
Yeah,
I don't know why. It's just,
the new ones will not look that way, and I think they're changing the corks too. Not sure yet on that, but anyway, our next two bottles we'll be releasing from there will be a port finished and a cognac finished, and they're both bottled and cased. They're ready to go, and we have a shit ton of those. The cognac finish is one you're going to want multiple bottles of. It is really, really fantastic. Really, really, and port too. To be honest with you, ports, I can't even. The cognac to me is just like insane. The port is also very good too. For the money, those are going to be very difficult bottles to beat, and they will have the old label. Then the next two barrels that I have behind that, which are just straight bourbon barrels, those are going to have the new label. Okay. And I can't wait because that you guys might remember it as Bent Dick Bourbon. That's the one that Ludwig was drawing the penis on.
Yeah.
So that, and then there's another barrel there's another barrel about 10 feet away, and they both are just mind blowers. Tyrus himself was like, "Man, these are the best I've ever tasted out of this warehouse." So we're really excited to get our hands on those as well.
See,
and those will have the new labels.
I've only got one that's cognac finished, and that's Big Vic got me. I bought the 4-gate.
4-gate.
Batch 18, I think it is.
So I will tell you, I've tasted the cognac against the Bardstown Ferrand, which is cognac. I've tasted against the Joseph Magnus just cognac finish, which was a store pick, and it beat both of them. It's been picked in a blind against a batch 85 cigar blend.
Oh wow.
There's another cognac. Oh, and a Belle Meade.
Yeah.
So the Belle Meade cognac. So I agree, top shelf. The Ferrand wasn't great, but here's the thing. You start talking about those whiskeys, and the cognac finishing is expensive. The barrel's expensive to get your hands on the barrel, and then you've got to then dump it and rebarrel it. That's time and expense. So that adds a lot of expense. Well, that cognac finish story time I'm thinking it's going to be in that 65 to 70 range. This is a 7-year MGP. But I promise you, this thing is insane. And for that price, the fact that it's beaten out cigar blend and the Ferrand and all these really high-end, very expensive, very commercially marketable brands is a big deal. And that's really kind of the heart and soul of what I wanted to accomplish with Storytime, right? Was to be able to get these kinds of whiskeys at an affordable price to alleviate this whole secondary unreal pricing stuff that's going on. And
I think one thing is, but and just wondering, I don't know why, and maybe it's because we know Malort, but you almost sometimes feel, and this is good because what you're doing with these picks, but sometimes you feel Jeppson's is a lower brand in a sense, and they're not necessarily. It's just
for sure.
I think it's just a visual thing that you get. Like,
if I did with Jepson's, with CH Distillery, what I did with Backbone, right, which was create a whole new label. So Old Dragon Bones, that's a whole new label. Like Chris did the artwork on that. You know, this is my idea, the whole Dragon Bones thing, Old Dragon Bones. This is all kind of this brainchild I had about this whiskey. Chris made it come to life, and we submitted it to Backbone, and now they've got a new brand or you know, a label that they can drop.
Yeah.
Well, we're actually going to be doing it collaboratively, which is kind of cool. But if I did that same thing with Jepson's and I created a whole new label, a whole new brand, even if I said, okay, hey, and there's been discussions about doing that. Hey, I want to do a Storytime branded whiskey, new label, new brand. That same crap that has that Jepson's label on, I could easily get 10 or 15 more dollars a bottle just by changing that label. And people would probably not even blink an eye.
A lot of this is visual.
It is 100%.
Like, I don't care. Like, how many people go into a liquor store and you see that freaking amazing looking bottle that has junk inside of it? Like, I've seen reviews with just the outrageous looking bottles that some companies put together, and it's not necessarily whiskey. It's like, it could be some kind of a rum or something different, like something. And it's like, what the hell, man? You spent a lot of money on that bottle, and it's no good inside. Like, but I mean, it is like, I like certain bottles. Like, I like the Woodford Double Oak bottle, that little stubby bottle. The other ones I really like are those square, like Backbone does the stubby.
Those are a son of a bitch to ship, by the way.
Yeah. Because I've got the hey Ben, I've got like a bunch of the Backbone old sherries from Mash and Journey. I bought about 4 of those, and I like those bottles. They're heavy though, very heavy.
They are a lot of glass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I love them too. I just don't like to ship them.
No, but I mean,
They're
like, you know the style of bottles you end up liking. The only thing I don't like about those wine bottles, like those wine style bottles, a lot of shelves don't fit them. When you set your shelves up, like certain shelves you buy off of like that are already pre-sized, I have to have them all on my top. Like, all my wine bottle ones have to sit like on my top shelf.
Yeah.
They won't fit in these ones.
Well, here's a little trip or tip. You always want 15 inches between shelves.
Heard that story of my life.
Whoa.
No, for sure. And that's like, even these cabinets, I modified them to fit my larger Scotch bottles. Because this is all Scotch in these two, and then that's all bourbons on that side. Or just whiskey, like American whiskey, I guess. Bourbon, whiskey. All my Bookers.
Hey, so I will tell you, the 2022-01 batch.
I got 1.
I actually enjoy that bottle.
Yeah, I bought 2 in Canada, actually.
Wow.
They don't look the same, but they are the actual.
So my bottle's still sitting in Idaho. My buddy's got to send it to me. But I got a couple of those and gave one away or sold it. I didn't sold it. I picked it up actually for Will and Michelle.
Mm.
Yeah, the Storytime logo. No, man. Hey, go watch the Whiskey Crusaders, bro. I love Matt. That guy is legit. I've been on for an hour and a half.
Yeah, you don't have to watch me. Yeah. I'm me.
I love Matt. If you guys want to get some real knowledge on whiskey, Matt is a guy.
Oh, actually,
that is something I would like to do more of. I would like to get into a little more of kind of reset and go back to trying to get people pulled in by educating and going back and revisiting history. Yeah. What you got?
This is a Canadian whiskey, though.
Oh, was it north of
North
7?
of 7, corn, rye, barley. These are different batches, single barrels.
Okay.
But I was just thinking of bottle wise, but that's like a backbone bottle. Similar.
Yeah.
But I've got all their batches that they have out right now, except for the cap. Like these are 57.5, but they're not the cast strength ones. There's actually cast strength ones I haven't seen yet, but Peter White told me about these really good Canadian whiskey. They are right now a minimum of 7 year at this moment.
Okay.
They're down in Ottawa.
It's
really good whiskey.
That dude has like an extra room in his house that's nothing but whiskey.
Who's that?
Matt from Whiskey Crusaders. That dude's got more whiskey than. I mean, he
thought
might have as much as Greg McDonald.
I can't remember what he. What I think Donald told me or something. Like I think he's up to like almost like something crazy, like the 3,000 mark or something like that of bottles or something. Could be like 1,500 to a 2,000 or something. But like wow.
Yeah, well, I think what Chad and Sarah have like some ridiculous amount of bottles in their possession as well.
Well, even the shelves they have behind them, I think, are like 5 deep,
Yeah.
5, 6 bottles deep. It's like
this is a lot of damn whiskey.
I don't got enough friends to drink whiskey with. It's just me. Eventually, as soon as we have it set up, when we have our outside stuff set up, we get the deck doors put in, get actual kitchen. That comes in handy when you want to have people over.
Yeah, but then it just means you got to have people over.
Yeah, I know. But like my carpenter said, the contractor said, he says, since we're not doing a dining area, we're just doing like a 5 foot by 7 foot island that'll have 5 chairs.
Yep.
He said, all you need is 5 friends. The 6th one don't make it. They're out. So there's only enough seating for 5. So
yeah, see, there's Greg McDonald coming in.
yeah.
I'm surprised he can even type with all the amount of bottles he's got in his house.
2,500 bottles.
Yeah, that's a lot of damn whiskey, man. Like, I mean, you look at my collection, and it's a lot. It is a lot. Even at 300 and over, I've got over 350 that are open on the bar.
Yeah.
And maybe 400 total, maybe 390, 380, something like that. That's a lot of damn bottles.
Yeah.
But that is nothing compared to some of these other people that just have.
Well, that's like, I didn't, like even myself, I've only been in this for a couple years. And I think I'm up to 150, 170 bottles. And the only reason I know that is because I had to box them all up and bring them here.
Right. You're like, son of a bitch. Why do I have so many bottles?
But that's, and it's interesting because that's the sad truth to go back about the buying, that you don't know what you, like, that you really need it. You don't even realize how much bottles you have.
Yeah.
Until you actually one day decide to count them for some reason. I never see Clyde Mays.
Yeah, I'll tell you that one too, especially that's the 13.
Yeah.
It is something really special. Only 1,000 bottles, and I managed to get like 7 of them somehow.
Now, who is Clyde Mays? Like, what is the, like? Is it MGP?
So he was yeah, that's a good question, and I'm going to read you the story because it's good. Clyde Mays lived outside the law. He was a moonshiner by trade.
I'm glad you have an accent for that.
By art. Using hand-built copper stills, fresh Alabama spring water, and the finest local grains, he vowed to make the best darn whiskey Alabama ever tasted. Now, this 13-year-old American whiskey celebrates Clyde's creed and iconoclastic life, bottled at cast strength with a nose full of citrus, peach, and cedar, followed by layers of rich spice, apple, and oak on the palate. Finishes with a lingering complexity of zesty orchard fruits and white pepper. Sip neat or serve with one large pinch or piece of ice, small type, in your favorite vessel. But yeah, so he was apparently a bootlegger, moonshiner down in Alabama.
Now, distillery wise, that's MGP, right? Or no?
Yeah, that's MGP. Now they do their own stuff, but yes. So Greg's had a point. Like literally, I know I said 350 on the bar open, but really, my extended bar, which actually exists in Greg's house, I have another 800 probably 800 bottles. So I'm probably at about 11, 12. I'm about 1,200 bottles right now.
Well, that's it. The unpaid for bottles.
Yeah, exactly.
Just hold on to those for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Are you paying rent?
No. So the fee is he gets to drink them.
Ah, nice.
Yeah. Fred literally has 5 bottles, Doug, 5. And then the other 200 at the house are all Doug's.
That's funny. Oh, Fred. No, I don't know. I do find it interesting, you guys finding these aged Canadian whiskeys, and yet they don't taste like Canadian whiskey.
Well, it's because we had to bring it to America and give it some patriotism, you know.
Yeah.
Damn capitalism.
Yeah, because I have what's the other Canadian that I bought there? It's pretty pricey too. It's right here. What the hell is it? Very, very good stuff. I got batch 4. Found North. Yeah, Found North.
Oh yeah.
This stuff is very, very good. This is 18 year.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very good stuff. 62.4. But they're like, I mean, they're $100-something bottles, but it's funny that if I want Canadian whiskey, I got to buy it in America.
The best is.
Well, North of 7 is actually really good. It's not like that generic, just solid rye Canadian taste. I've got a couple of the 40 Creeks and that are special releases, but they still taste dessert. Like they're so desserty. They're not like when we say a sweet bourbon or something like that. They're like,
right.
They taste like almost like pralines or something, like really it's like really sweet.
I
don't even know if I have anything here I haven't opened yet.
Man, I'll tell you that this Clyde Mays, the 13, is just so freaking good. That's just so good.
It's a Wilderness Trail. Do you ever think about doing a Wilderness Trail pick?
Not yet, but yes. I want him to get some more age. I'll tell you, I had the 8-year bottled and bond.
Yeah, I know that they're out.
Yeah, Ethan Turk brought it to Friday at Fred's, and that thing is fire. So if you see the 8-year bottle and bond bourbon, buy it now. Don't flinch. Promise you, you're gonna love that bottle. It is really, really good. Someone asked earlier about the perfect age. That 8, man, it's kicked off. I can only see what that thing's gonna do.
Well, what age are these ones?
Davilar coming in. Well, if you find them, you let old Shane know. I may or may not be interested. Although 202 bones is pretty expensive.
Yeah, I think it doesn't say. Wait. 4 years, 6 months. 4 years, 6 months. That was the HBR picks. They're good. The weeded whiskey.
Steve, no, there is no light whiskey in there. It's not a blend of anything. It's bourbon, man. Yep.
Whew, $200. Yeah, that's 13 years though. I mean, like, I'm starting to realize the age of the whiskey in when it comes to like bourbons and that doesn't factor in the price. Like why I
Not
say that?
anymore. Used to.
Yeah, because like some people are like you're talking about Elijah Craig, for instance, a 10-year usually wouldn't have no problem paying $120 for a 10-year, $100 for a 10-year. I mean, I'm stupid. I buy 6-year-old Bookers for $100. Actually, I get them for 79 up here, so it's a little different. but a 13, so 16-year to my eyes should be $200 if you're paying $200 for a 13-year.
I mean, the proof has to play in as well.
Yeah, but I mean,
It has to be part of it because, you know, when you think about it, you think of Eagle Rare or you think of Henry McKenna.
yeah,
Both 10 years. Henry McKenna is what, $50 now? It used to be 35, now it's $50.
yeah,
Eagle Rare, $32 all day, every day. You can find that everywhere. Well,
That's
almost
10.
everywhere.
yeah.
It's some spots it's completely scarce, but there are some areas you can't fall down in the store and not hit 10 bottles on the way to the floor.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, $30. So when you look at that, or I look at a Russell's, you know, these single barrels, a lot of these are 10-year, right?
Yeah.
9-10 years. So, or even a Russell 10-year, you know, those are cheap, but these are, you know, $65-$70.
Yeah, and the Russell's 10 is like $30.
Yeah.
Or I think it's around that because I think I can even get them up here for less than $40.
Yeah, you're not getting Eagle Rare, but you're going to get, you know, Weller Antique and Weller Special Reserve. Like it's, you know.
Palm North, I think they could be an Indian bottle. Indie bottle. They are. Where are they? Are they Wisconsin? I'm just that's east of Wisconsin. Palm North is somewhere around there. Michigan? I can't even remember where they are. Yeah, because like you're looking at like you're even saying a 10-year Eagle Rare for $35. Like that's a 10-year whiskey. That some whiskeys you'll never see a 10-year for the next 5 years. Like, because they're running out of 10 years. Some, not all.
Yeah.
But.
So it's kind of weird. It's kind of a weird scenario.
Well, I thought that years like 10-year and up would start really climbing in price because 10-year is going to become limited. So was your 15-year. So was your 12 years. But.
So William Davillard, so it is a portion of the price, but to me, it's one of the most significant. And because that's, you know, when you're paying for whiskey, you're paying for the cost to produce, right? So it's the cost plus a markup. And I think of it in terms of like manufacturing. So for me in manufacturing, you know, I have the cost of my raw materials, I have the cost of my labor, and I have the cost of my floor space and my inventory taxes, right? So whiskey, you know, as it gets up to 10 years, they've paid taxes on that 10 years to have that thing sit in a warehouse. And they paid insurance on that barrel for 10 years, let alone the cost of. So if Eagle Rare, if Buffalo Trace or Sazerac, or we'll just whatever, the distillery, Sazerac, can age a barrel for 10 years, and yes, I know they're proofing it down. I get it. But if they can do that for 10 years and still put out that bottle at $31, that should put everything into perspective on a lot of these other companies. Now, granted, they're one of the larger ones. right? So their cost to produce is lower
And they got
because they have larger equipment. It amortizes the cost out. I get it. Oh,
5 million,
whatever.
5 million bottles.
But is it really, when I think about, for instance, Starlight's a 4.5-year-old whiskey. And some of it gets to 5 or whatever, but it's 4.5 years, and it's retailing on the low end at 60 and on the high end at 80.
Yeah.
So to me, that's a tough one. Like when someone says, "Oh, this bottle's this price," yes, you're paying for availability. You're paying, so on the smaller scale, you're paying for craft production, right? So these are some specially curated bottles, specially curated barrels, special curated grains, things like that, which are fine. But the cost to age should not be any different than the cost to age the Eagle Rare, right? But what happens is it hits kind of that 8-year mark, and a lot of these things start exponentially growing in price. Hey, Samantha, how you doing? Love the original song you put out the other day. I saw that, by the way. It was great. What were you saying there, Alex?
Well, what I'm getting at is, like, say if you take something like, what did you say there, the Port Night, Starlight, or whatever. Like, these, I mean, they're not a startup, but in comparison to Buffalo Traces of the world and all that kind of stuff, they are a startup by age of in business of age.
Mm-hmm.
So technically, like, the other companies came in at a time when prices were lower to become what they are now, where somebody 5 years ago coming into it, prices are a lot higher. They're trying to establish a stockpile. They have higher costs to establish that stockpile, where the other company already has 30 years on them to have a stockpile to doing it. Yeah, they're going to be, nowadays, pricing is the same thing, but you're going to have that company that has 30 years under their belt being able to just keep producing like 10,000 bottles to make up for what they did, where this Starlight's going to come out with 500 bottles and try to keep their costs so they can actually stay in business. I mean, no matter how old the whiskey is that they have, they don't have the age in their company to float them, like to get them. Yeah. It'd be a rough industry to be in, honestly.
It's to me, it's kind of, it's exciting on the NDP side, right? Because the business model is very clear. There's not a whole lot of operating costs other than the acquisition of the material, right? So, and that's relatively fixed in that what you're paying, you go in. I don't have a lot of these variable costs to manage.
Yeah.
So anyway, so top shelf, Dustin, yes, that's why, it's the Angel's share. That's that 8-year to 12-year I was asked earlier about. That's why I think that 8-year really is kind of that sweet spot for bourbon, 8 to 12, and then it starts going the other way after 12. In most cases, not all, but most.
Yeah.
Is that Angel share starts playing in. Yes, NDP is somewhat that way, Dustin, but there's also the blend mechanism that comes into play, and that is exactly what you're dealing with when you talk about Foregate and when you talk about Old Carter, right? Some of the most sought after, most expensive SRP whiskeys out there, and those guys, neither one distill their own stuff. Couldn't tell you the first thing about distillation other than what they've acquired in the last few years, right? They understand flavors, and they understand influence, and they understand marketing. Especially Mark and Sherry Carter understand marketing. They are one of the most shrewd purchasers of barrels out there. And Mark is just a freaking genius when it comes to blending. And he's done a fabulous job, and he's built a great brand because he understands the palates and profiles of his consumers.
Yeah.
And that really came from the wine industry. He really, I mean, he does the same thing there. He doesn't grow a single grape, and he doesn't ferment a single drop. He buys barrels and blends them and creates these blended wines that sell for as much as his whiskeys.
So then they would be just as content at any day of the year to still stay with the same amount of stock that they produce every time they produce.
Yep.
Instead of trying to grow it to 10,000 bottles.
Yep. So I want to address this real quick. So, Steve, the reason they cannot call it a bourbon is because they call it Alabama style. And that's Clyde May's marketing trick or trademark, if you will. Alabama style references an apple or some apples chucked into the barrel when the whiskey is aged. But we know that this is MGP distilled. So what they have done is selectively purchased these barrels, and we don't know what the apple influence is there. But the reason it's called just a whiskey and not a bourbon is because they're calling it Alabama style. I don't know if that's a marketing trademark to them or if it's because they're actually putting an apple in there for some time. It may be a minute, it may be, but there isn't a whole lot of apple influence to me. That it's there. There's an essence there, but I wouldn't say it's like a strong apple essence. So I do not believe there's any light whiskey in there, especially when I look at the color of that bottle. And I look at even the 13-year light whiskeys that I've had. They're a lot, believe it or not, lighter, which is unusual because some of the older light whiskeys seem to get darker faster than some of the bourbons I've seen. But no, I don't believe that there's any light whiskey in there. And if there is, it'd be a very small amount.
Yeah. Yeah, so what I see what Dustin's saying there, like Compass Box Kate didn't sing to her. They've been doing it for long, but
yeah. Well, yeah, there's been several of these, NDP sourcing guys. One of the best bottles of scotch I've ever had was one of these companies. I don't remember the name of it now. You'd know it if I said it. I'm sure Dustin would definitely know it. But it was a 31-year-old. What the hell was it? Glenallachie, and it was unfreaking believable. And then it had like another independent bottler that did. It was like an 18 or a 21-year-old Mortlock.
Oh, yeah.
Like they're getting these crazy barrels that even the standard releases, I would be shocked if they're even close because they're just so like that freaking Glenallachie was unfreaking real. Like the profile on that thing was like nothing I've ever had. And so freaking delicious.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Blended scotch. Like I know some people bust hard on it. I like blended scotch. Like, I mean, I have quite a few. I love Douglas Lang. Douglas Lang does really good blended. Well, I mean, the company does really good blended scotches, like Rock Oyster, Rock Island, Timoris. Like, they're amazing. Like,
yeah.
Some people bust on it because it's blended. It's not true scotch. But
Doc Swenson's, yes, great NDP. Although I think they are running their own stuff as well. Penelope falls in that realm. Some of the Smooth Ambler stuff like this, that's MGP. Granted, they do their own stuff as well, but a lot of the best stuff that comes out is these single barrels that are just like, they find these crazy honey barrels, or they go into a deal where, say, a batch of barrels shows up on a broker site, and they'll buy them. Say there's 100 barrels at $2,000 a piece, and they're 6 years or 8 years or whatever, or it's 20 barrels of 10-year, and they're $4,000. So someone's going to buy those up because they're going to be, there's going to be some magic ones in there, and they're going to taste them. And there's probably going to be some that are okay, some that are great, and some that are like no good. And they're going to sit on them. And they're going to cover their cost on the first ones that are good. And then that there's going to be these crazy honey barrels that come out. And that's how I think, like on the Scotch side, what's happened. In a lot of the stuff that you're finding now, like these really cool finishes, are really rounding out palates and profiles on whiskeys that otherwise weren't that good. Now all of a sudden they kind of hit that oh my god status. This is a smashable bottle.
Yeah.
So
I mean when you're finishing and that, some things don't finish right.
Yeah, you're right. There's been some turds for sure.
I like ports, I like sherries.
The good thing is, even if you get a bad finish, you can then dump it and put it in another barrel and finish it out. And they do that 100%. That gets done.
Yeah.
They'll try it, and then it sucks, and then they're like, "Oh shit, this needs this." So then they'll throw it in another barrel, and oh wow,
nice. That will be nice. You'll enjoy that, from Greg. That's great. I'll never see that, but
Scotch guys have been around a long, long time, no doubt about it.
That would be.
All right. Go ahead.
No, I was just reading Greg's again there with the cast strength. Like, I truly, like, me and Anthony, we're neophyte and stuff like that. Like, truly believe 46 ABV and up is the sweet spot for Scotch. Anything under that is like water or apple juice, I always call it. But I love these cast strength Scotches, man, that have been coming out. Like,
have you had any of the Highland Park single barrels?
No Highland Park yet. I've been told to get them. I can get them in Alberta. I don't know if I can get the single barrels, mind you.
Out of the 2 or 3 that I have tried, they are unreal. Like Greg, 10, 11, 15-year-old, I think, are the years that I tried.
Greg, that would be awesome if you could do that. That'd be great. And actually, samples seem to get to me for some reason.
Greg could send you lots of samples, by the way.
Well, it's weird. Like, supposedly samples can get through. Of course, the whole bottle's not coming through. But.
Yep. Yeah, the sample should be getting through no problem. So if I just send you like 24 sample bottles, you'll be golden.
In 24 packages.
Yeah, exactly. You just at that point, you might as well just pay the tax.
I'll just make sure I grow a beard.
That's right.
Lots of beard oil.
Lots of beard oil.
Just some barrel picks. Wild Rose is what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, the single barrels, Highland Park.
Probably, Ben. I didn't even know they had those. The barrel picks. They got Highland Park barrel picks. Huh. Are they cast strength, Ben? Or, yeah, the Highland Park you're talking about is cast strength, right? Jane? Yep. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're approaching that 2-hour mark. I really don't want to go over 2 hours.
Yeah, I'll be going to the bed soon.
But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go out with a song.
I need to get Mike to open this damn casting 25-year-old. No idea. Some Wild Rose and Co-op store. It was like $225, $250. What would the Highland Park pick be? What you're talking about, Shane? Price-wise, America.
They're about. I think they're about 130. Like some places had them for 200, but they're around 130.
Okay, so what Ben's saying isn't outrageous in Canadian price then. $225 in that.
That's like $7 American, I think.
Yeah.
So you think you can tell heaven from hell, blue skies from pain? Can you tell a green field from a cold steel rail, a smile from a veil? Do you think you can tell? Did they get you to trade your heroes for ghosts, hot ashes for trees, a hot air for a cool breeze, a cold comfort for change? Did you exchange a walk-on part in the wall for a lead role in the cage? How I wish you were here. Well, just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl, year after year, running over the same old ground. What have we found? The same old fear. I wish you were here. How I wish you were here. We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl, year after year, running over the same old ground. What have we found? The same old fears. I wish you were here. Well, there you go. It's my song to end the night. Thanks for hanging out, folks.
Not a problem, man. It was a pleasure.
You're the bestest.
In the Westest.
In the Westest.
Cheers.
Cheers to some Clyde Mays 13. Again, started off with the Woodford 118, 128. 118s from this year, 128s from last year. 118, fantastic after it opened up. It was really, really fantastic. 128 was fantastic as well. I will tell you that after they both sat in the glass for a while, I think I prefer the 118. But out of the gate, I preferred the 128. So that's kind of a cool change.
Yeah.
And then just to sum it up too, then I went to a Jimmy Russell's single barrel. Freaking fantastic from Mississippi. Thanks, Dale Console. Thanks, Alex. Thanks, everyone else who's here. Great conversations. Best stories are shared with friends. Hope to see you guys all soon. I don't know if Matt's still on, but if he is, you guys should go check him out. Anyway, talk to you later. See you, Alex.
Cheers, everyone.